Hello there, and welcome to Mystic Brick. Between the larger series that I am currently running, I thought it'd be fun to build some single plate dioramas and perhaps spend a little bit of time detailing how I put these together. So this is the Druidic Council. I've done 2 of these already, but only released them as shorts. So I thought it would be nice to give a little bit more of a detailed video on some of these elements here. We'll be putting some minifigs in here too, so we'll take a look at those a little closer as well. But yeah, specifically with regard to how I built some of these trees and put the foliage about, some of these rock formations, I thought it'd be nice to give a very brief tutorial, nothing too in-depth. To build a branch terminus, I've taken a basic light brown stem and put some flowers along with leaves connected into these 3 slots. And then for the centerpiece, you can put in one of the little sprouting plant shafts, as I would do for most of the branches. But for this one, I'm going to put just a single light brown shaft with 3 leaves connected and a little blue birdie on top. I'm then going to take a rounded stud with a hole in the middle and connect these 2, and this will allow it to sit within the 1x1 rounded brick that's waiting for us in the tree over here. It'll just help secure it a little bit better, but it'll still move around quite nicely. You can play around with all different kinds of variations of this, but for this diorama what I've done is taken those little stems and place them into a 1x1 brick with 4 knobs, and that'll be put on the end of the little branch pieces here. When I build trees, I do it in a very unscripted way, and so I'm usually just going at it, and it generally works out. But I think it is a good idea to have some idea of some of the more basic building techniques. This one here comes from the medieval blacksmith set. I've modified it quite a lot to fit this build, but the idea is the same. And then for this tree here, I've taken the cross axle with grooves and inserted those into the Technic design element with holes to form that basic trunk structure there, and then attach more of the branch pieces or root pieces, and then those leaves and flowers in the ways that we've just looked at together. This one here is a bit of a smaller tree, and again you see I've used some of that same design, and it really works out well. It makes for quite a sturdy tree, and the branches move, they're functional, which I think is really cool as well. And again, they're not falling off or anything. You can, move them at the base and then where the leaves turn as well. I find for anything that I do with rock structures, cheese slopes are my best friend. And they just give great texture and help you get that rocky finish. So as long as you're using the other slope pieces and then topping them with those cheese slopes, I think you have a really good thing going. Foliage again is pretty simple, and you can do so many different things with it. Taking these little fern plant pieces here and put the sprouting shafts into those. I thought it'd be cool for this little Druidic Council diorama to put down those tiles and sloping tiles to get that little tree effect in the middle. Hey, let's look at the minifigs now. The first of 4 druids is this one, more of a barbarian druid, I guess. And I've taken the barbarian legs from CMF 25, put the new torso from the D&D CMF that came with the barbarian there. And then for her familiar, I decided to just go with the little husky. In the very near future, we're going to have a wolf print coming out with CMF 27, which I am so very excited for, and that would make a really great familiar. But for now, alas, we'll stick with this. The second druid here is a combination of leg and torso pieces from the new D&D set, both from the Halfling druid that came with that set and also the bard. For his familiar, I've decided to go with this winking owl, which I think comes from one of the Harry Potter sets. Thought that worked out pretty cool. The third druid here has a leg and torso set from one of the Lord of the Rings sets, I believe. I've given her this really cool staff with the translucent purple club from the Galactic Warrior from CMF 26, the Space Series. For her familiar, I've given her the Falcon from the Falconer CMF 25, which I think suits her well. And also her cape is from the wizard, one of the earlier CMFs, and I've just turned that inside out, so the stars are on the inside. For our final druid here, I'm taking a lot of pieces from the halfling druid from CMF, the D&D CMF, but I've given him the headpiece of the warlock from that series, and then I've also given him the leg piece from the Wolfpack minifig that I think came with like CMF 23 or something like that. And for his familiars, I'm gonna give him 2 of the little, what I think are wolf cubs that came with the D&D set. They could be like little bear cubs too, I guess, but I think they work out well for this. So those are your minifigs. Here's a closer look at them all together. You know, I think they all worked out pretty well. I might change out some of these familiars. Like I said, if I had like a little bear or that wolf that's coming, that would be kind of cool. But I think their staves all turned out quite nicely as well. And, you know, there are some other options that I might use for these, but on the whole, really happy. Oh, and then I just wanted to mention the axes here that the Barbarian Druid has come from K-Town bricks, so they're not a Lego print, but they're really cool. A quick look at our minifigs in situ here within the Druidic Circle. You can see these 3 druids have already arrived and are inviting their lost companion up into the council. Perhaps she is the youngest member and is notorious for being late, who's to say, but they're all waiting for her in any case. And then I also wanted to give you the different perspective then of all these druids together in the circle conducting their druidic affairs, whatever those might be, things that pertain to the health of the forest and the plants and the animals and all such things, and how they might be tenders of these things, I'm sure. But you know, this was a really fun to put together, and I really like doing these single play builds. They're a nice break from everything else, and I hope you've enjoyed this little miniature tutorial or whatever this has been, and please look out for more of them. Thank you so much for your support, and you know, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.